Business and commercial knowledge. In today's world, both earning of income as well as its spending has increasingly become dependent on business and commerce. To begin with, let us view business and commerce as comprising an array of activities for the production, distribution and exchange, buying and selling, of goods and services. And even if we do not work for a business organization, much of our spending takes place buying various goods and services that have been produced or provided by business organizations. Domains of business and commercial knowledge. BCK is vast. The universe of business is vast. Take for example the range of business activities. It includes manufacturing, trading and services. Just contemplate on any of the activities. Countless instances would come to mind. Take domestic trade, and within it retail trade. Thus, to know about retail trade one needs to be aware of its various forms. BCK is eclectic, multidisciplinary. BCK is eclectic, that is, it derives from various disciplines, e.g. marketing, accounting and finance, operations, human behavior, psychology, sociology, laws, economics, ethics, etc. Each discipline has a vocabulary of its own and thus contributes toward BCK vocabulary. BCK is ever evolving and expanding. BCK domains are ever evolving and expanding. For example, information and communications technology has introduced several terms in the lexicon of BCK. An important aspect of this evolution is the decline and demise of old businesses and old ways of doing business and the emergence of new businesses and newer ways of doing the businesses. Building the BCK vocabulary. Strategy. Just as the armies at war develop strategies to outsmart each other, likewise businesses draw their strategies to beat their competitors. Logistics. In business it implies the detailed coordination of a complex operation involving many people, facilities, or supplies. Typically inbound logistics imply the movement of inputs and the outbound logistics means the movement of outputs. Bulls. Because bulls throw up their enemies in combat, likewise bulls imply the stock market players who raise the stock prices through building a buy pressure. Being bullish implies optimistic expectations that the economy market business is likely to do well. Bears. Bears have the tendency to embrace and push downwards their enemies in a combat. Thus, bears are the stock market players that have pessimistic expectations. Importance of BCK for chartered accountants. Chartered accountants are the custodians. The chartered accountants are the custodians of a nation's resources. They are responsible for putting in place a credible system of truthful and fair accounting and reporting of the society's resources, their deployment and utilization. Business and commercial sector. Business and commercial sector comprises a large share of their work arena. In this context, BCK is likely to make them more aware and responsive. Each business has its own peculiarities and associated variation in notions of product, inventory, revenue, profit, etc. To conduct the audit diligently. The chartered accountants shall be able to conduct the audit diligently only when they understand the nuances of the business whose accounts they prepare or audit. Getting conversant with and updating BCK. Self-assurance. Business is all around. We encounter it, engage with it in numerous transactions on a daily basis. Non-commerce background. If you had science, use the bridge of technology to cross over to business. If you had humanities, then there are several bridges connecting with business, economics for sure, history of daily lives and livelihoods, and so on. Observation and experience. It is all about becoming slightly more conscious of our sensory activities. Maybe an article in a newspaper, a TV commercial or a business news, a visit to a market or a mall, browsing of the net or a smartphone app. Practice and improvement. We may maintain a daily journal of BCK wherein we record our observations and organize our readings, viewings, listenings, etc. Human activities, economic and non-economic. Economic and non-economic. Interestingly, while the economic activities are distinguishable merely by the presence of the livelihood motive, a variety of motives are attributed to non-economic activities, viz., concern for fellow beings, affection and love for family, passion about some hobby or cause such as animal rights, forest nature conservation, street children and destitutes, etc. Activities driven by. Usually economic activities are said to be driven by rationality, what do I get in return or what is in it for me, or self-interest. Non-economic activities are driven by emotional or sentimental reasons or altruism, i.e. selfless concern for the welfare of others. Economic dimension. It is interesting to note that even non-economic activities have an economic dimension, e.g. time, money and material resources are needed to make these happen, both in terms of large initial expenditure as well as their day-to-day operations and management. Distinguishing characteristics of economic activities. Economic activities are income generating. In economics, individuals comprise as possessors of one or more of factors of production, labor, land, capital and entrepreneurship. It is not necessary that all these incomes may be earned in the form of money only. These may be earned in kind too. Economic activities are productive. Production essentially is the process of creation of need-satisfying goods and services. As a corollary, earning of a livelihood implies participation in the process of production. Generation of electricity, manufacture of automobiles and writing of software programs are all instances of productive activities. Even consumption is an economic activity. Consumption represents the demand side of economics, i.e. the goods and services on which the people will spend their income. Production is organized in response to the demand. Different products compete for buyers' attention and spending. Savings, investment and wealth. The financial sector, banks, non-banking financial companies, mutual funds, dealers in stock markets, real estate, gold, etc. are the channels through which the savings are converted into investment and wealth.